Okay, hopefully this time I'm doing it right. So let's try it again. Alright, finally got the option for chat. Let me bring it up. Close this. Let's bring this up real quick. Content, live. I go here. And let's pop out chat. Let's put this here. Alright, that looks awesome. I've got you guys here. And I should be able to chat with you in case any one of you join the stream, and I would love to answer any of your questions. I'm happy to I think they changed the monetization. Okay, save this. Alright, awesome. Looks like we're good to go, and in today's video we are just going to continue where we left off. So we were creating this sword, and I want to just start so that I'm a little bit motivated. I don't want to actually start directly into what do you say? Directly start modeling it, because last time when I did that, I apparently lost all motivation and everything was going wrong. So let's start with actually doing some procedural texture stuff, right? Before we actually start modeling things and stuff like that. So okay, just looking to see if there is anyone on the chat. Okay, that looks fine to me. I think we're good to go. So let me actually start getting into it, and as and when you guys join in, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have along the way, right? So the texture in the center, I just created a white glowing material, and I don't quite like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a principal VSDF here, and also a mix shader. So let's plug both of these in, and let's plug this in here. Now it immediately goes dim, and that's not something that I really like. So what I basically want to do is I want to either create circles here that will keep going up, or just keep going around, or maybe stars. We'll see what we want to do, right? So bring in a Voronoi texture and plug this into the factor, and there's nothing for now, and that's because let's make it a little bit more sharper, right? So let's do this. Let's bring this in here. I think it's way too big at this point, so let's make it like this. And I'm actually going to plug this into the object coordinate. Let's see. Oops. Object coordinate. Plug this here. Now this is somewhat how it looks like at this point. Let's make it bigger. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go here. This is the sword material. I'm going to just copy that and bring this here, and I'm going to use this principal VSDF because I want it to match the material around it, right? And that's when it will look like it's spanning into the, what do you say, spanning into the sword for that matter. So just 1 second. Is someone here? I don't see anyone. Okay, fine. Let me make the size a little bit more smaller. And what I'm actually going to do is let's add a mapping node after this as well. So mapping node, and let's do hashtag frame divided by -20, right? So this is happening. Let's switch it to 4D. I'm going to do hashtag frame divided by 30 divided by 3 maybe. And okay, that's too fast. So divided by 10. right? And it's going up very fast as well. So let's go minus 30. Maybe make this my little bit more. Let's go 5 more. Right, so this looks pretty cool to me. It's already giving it so much depth, and we can just flip it actually, because I think this is looking much more cooler to me now than the other one. So let's make the dots smaller. Let's make it somewhat like this. And guys, feel free to ask any questions that you have along the way. I will be happy to answer them. I have got this chat here this time just specifically to make sure that I don't lose out on any of your chats like I did the last time, right? So let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I think the effect is already looking really cool. Actually, the beauty about a Voronoi texture is you can actually switch it to something very different as well. Like for example, you can make it look like stars. So let's make the scale even smaller so that we see the stars, right? And what we can do is if we change this to constant, right? And if we bring this here and let's try something interesting, right? So let's bring this here, make this black again, or maybe let's do this. Yeah. You see, this is looking so cool. So let's do it this way. Okay. Now there are constant stars appearing on my sword, which is looking so freaking cool. Oh my god. Okay, that's awesome. So we've got some motivation now to start editing again. So now what I'm going to do is like previously. What I was doing is I was just modeling it without any thought, and that led to, yeah, for sure. Miguel, hey, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here, and please feel free to ask any questions, right? And I'm happy to answer any of those. So, yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to try and model something first before we create it. So if you see, the rough shape that I want to create is like very archy, and the best way to go about it, I feel, is through a plane. So what we're going to do is let's just bring this here, and we're going to create this in parts, right? So let's add loop cuts wherever we think that we are going to need an additional loop. So I'm going to bring this here, and let's say here is where I'm going to add more faces to create this arch. Similar to that, I think there's an arch coming out here, so I want to like extrude this and bring this here. So let's bring this on the z-axis, and I think this is fine. This should be covered within this face. This should be covered within this. This should be covered within this, right? So I'll just bring. If I want a symmetric look, I can just go ahead and do that. But if I don't want symmetry, then maybe I'll think about something else. But let's start with symmetry. We can just make it more dynamic later, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the vertex mode, delete all of this, and then add a mirror modifier here as well, right? So mirror modifier, and now it looks pretty interesting. So the first thing we'll do is we'll try and model this, right? So let's bring this up, okay? And this one, we can bring this up as well. Now to create this arch, we can just add a few loop cuts, right? And let's make these go lower, make this go lower. just trying to roughly match the line, right? So that you guys. Okay, similar to this, I'm going to repeat the process here. So let's bring in a few woodcuts and bring these down. Okay, so it looks pretty cool to me. Now we can just move it on the x-axis, make it somewhat like this, right? And move this on the x-axis. First move this on the z-axis, move this on the x-axis. Just roughly trying to match the arch shape, right? So let's move this here. Actually, this, let's model it one step at a time, right? So let's add a loop cut here. Do we need this? Okay, let's add a few loop cuts. Again, we're going to bring this in. So let's try and see proportional editing if this works. Make it smaller. Smaller as well. Make this even smaller. Okay. Maybe we'll need one more loop cut here. Alright, we're going to go E, C, and for this we'll just scale it here, somewhat like this. Going to move this here. Alright, I want this to be straight, so that is fine. Let's move this a little bit. Alright, the shape is looking pretty cool to me. Now we also have to create this arch in the bottom, right? So we are going to model it in the same way. So let's add a few loop cuts here. E, maybe, no? Okay. Trying to use proportional editing as in wherever I can, basically, to make my life easier. So, okay. think I can just delete this last layer. I don't need it. Alright, I've got the shape roughly down. Let's see. We can now just select this, extrude it a little bit to go around the sword, which is looking pretty cool. And let's see. Can just duplicate it and do RX 180 and go down. Right. The one at the bottom we can just scale it a little lower. Let's actually delete this annotation from here. So let's go here. Oops. So delete two. I don't know how to, what's the shortcut to delete, by the way. Oh, there you go. Just a minute. Alright, so let's go back to selection. And I'm going to select all these actually and do object set origin to geometry. That didn't work. Okay, so let's just select these. Set origin to geometry. That also doesn't work because I think it's because of the mirror modifier. So let me actually apply this because I'm pretty much done with the use of the mirror modifier. So I'm going to select these again. Object origin to geometry. Okay, and this just brings in the origin of the object in the center. Now this eye that I see, let's move it actually a little bit more in the center of first sword. So let's do this. Alright, so maybe make this smaller. Okay, so it looks pretty interesting. Let's move this in and move this a little bit behind right here. Okay. I'm going to select all these vertices. Do this. Bluetooth flatten maybe, no? Bluetooth relax. And let's move it. I don't know what I'm doing at this point, but maybe we can create. Just select all these to circle, scale it this way, rotate it maybe. Why does it create weird circles like this? I don't understand. Oh, so you've got transparent off. So if you select equal number of vertex, it just simply lets you transform it into a circle. Then do this. The rotation looks wonky to me, so I'm gonna fix that. And maybe this. Let's do circle again. Fit inside. This fit. And what it's doing. Like perfect circle to me. Okay, what am I going to do with this? Just do E, bring it out, do Control B, maybe C, no. Okay, I'm going to add a looper here, bring this up, and control B. Okay, we'll shade auto smooth, maybe bring this down a little, so it's fine. I'm going to add a little bit more detail on the sword, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here at this point. And remove these. Go to see where we need them. Just select this. That's center. There we go. And select this. Scale it down. Looks so much better. Scale this down. Scale this down. Okay. Now for the sides, let's just see what we want to do. And again, I'm not really focusing on the opposite side. I can always fix that if I want it to be similar by using a mirror modifier, right? So, hey Mayur, sorry I missed your chat, man. How is it? How are you doing today? Maybe you can bring this out. Control B here, not too many, maybe 2. That's enough. I'll select the edges and double them. Alright, this looks nice. I'm just trying to add more random details. It's good to know. Thank you for joining the stream, by the way. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to merge by distance to remove any unwanted edges that I see. So hopefully it doesn't mess up my topology, but looks like we're fine. Okay, great. So let's just select this edge here. So we're going to do 2 and select the edge. Sorry about the darkness. So let me actually switch back here. Yeah. Okay. SY, and I'm actually going to use proportional editing here. So let's go 7. To shape this somewhat like here. I want it to be arching towards the center. Hey Nimanta, how are you? Yeah, this looks much better, and I think I want to repeat the process for this as well, but let's not keep it separate. I don't like that. Just thinking maybe let's bring this one up a little. These guys, I want to be able to see these as well, right? So I'll just select this too and do a little bit proportional editing here, not too much, little, just to see that arch. Okay, I select these faces, so let's do 3, let's do E. I'm gonna go back to the edge selection mode. I'm going to select this, sorry, and then this, Control B. Oh, it doesn't look good. select these edges, try and bevel, and I got the shape. It will probably look better if once we have textured it a little bit. But yeah, so let's go E. Let's go into transparent mode again. I'm just trying to see what I can create here, right? So let me use the breeze pencil similar to what I did last time. So let's see. Maybe something like this would be better. What do you guys think? Select all the edges here and let's bring them down. So E, right, and we are going to go into the X-ray mode. Let's move it on the X-axis. Move these down. I need to bring this here. Let's add a few more loop cuts. I think we'll need that. Bring this down. Oops. I don't know about you guys, but like it's been a while since I've done modeling, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it now at this point. Kind of fun. Tedious, but fun. How to export model? Exporting model is super simple. Like you just click on file, export, and export as FBX, right? And then I think here you can select. I'm not sure in FBX you get the option to select the materials. Let me check. If you're not getting it in FBX, the options that you want to have, then maybe try a different type of export type. So OBJ is right here. Here you can select the material groups and stuff, right? So I think try OBJ. Hopefully this helps, right? So you can just export it as OBJ. It's very simple. Just click on File, Export OBJ, and then you can choose your options that you want to basically choose what kind of export or what kind of model you want to see, right? Give me 1 second. I am feeling very hot. Let me switch on the AC. Just 1 second, guys. Let me know if that helps, or if you're looking for something else, and I can probably look into it. Hopefully that helps. So okay, now let's add a few other loop cuts here. I'm going to go back out of the X-ray mode, select these spaces, maybe, and let's extrude them. Right, if you see, I'm just trying to make sure that I keep the topology correct, because the last time I really didn't care about this and we ended up in a situation where it got really messy and I was not able to do what I want. So that's why I'm just taking care of the topology more this time. So let's go back to this. I am very bad at building characters. That's why I use Mixamo. But one option that I will suggest, the way you can bypass that, is download a character from Mixamo, use that as your base model, and then you can model the details that you want, right? So for the proportions that you're not getting right, start with a model that is already built in by someone else, so that you have a rough idea about how it looks, etc. And then you can use that as your baseline and then build the rest, is what I would suggest. I am very bad at modeling a character, so might not be the right person to tell you about this, right? So sorry about that, bro. But yeah, I do. I like, what do you say, procedural textures. So if you want to learn more about like how to create those, I'm your guy. Yeah, it's shaping out to be really nice. Let's select this face here. Awesome. I'm in Mumbai, by the way. So go. Let's do one again. Mata, if you're still in the chat, just let me know, man, if it helps. If not, maybe this is we can just talk about it a little bit more. Maybe not. That's fine. I should have used proportional editing then. Whatever. Yes, it is what it is. Okay. I think we're doing good. And this looks pretty cool. Let's erase this. I don't know what the shortcut for this is, by the way. Okay. Let's do mirror modifier again. Bisect X as well, so it looks more even. Let's come here, remove the X-ray mode, edge selection, select these, and proportional editing, scale it, maybe like this. I tried to use with Viroid, but there is no face rig. I tried. For face rigs, I think there was recently some guy that reached out to me. I think it would be better if you follow this guy, Royal Skies. I think he creates tutorials, really cool ones, and he also give you guidance how to bring those characters into Unreal Engine or something like that, or a game engine, right? So uh, watch his tutorials. I think he's one of the guys who can help you create face rigs and more ideas around that. I don't think there is anything else that you actually need to do, by the way, to export it. So when you say colors are not exporting, what do you mean by that? Oops. Sorry. This does do scale. This looks good, actually. Oh, if it's just the white character, are you like when you're exporting it, are you making sure that actually let's do that. Let's do it here, right? So we've got all of these textures here. Is your texture a procedural texture, or do you have a proper what do you say? Sorry, one second. Just messed up my topology here. Okay. Okay, we'll fix that later. Yeah, but what I want to know is that is your texture a procedural texture, or is it an image texture that you're trying to export? Because let's try and actually do it with this texture, right? So let's see if we are able to achieve that. So export obj. Here in the grouping, maybe I'll do material groups, materials. What is this? So material is checked, right? If I want to have the animation check, I can just make sure that the animations are also getting exported. This we don't need. Okay, let's try and see if we actually export it, and then if we import it into another Blender session, if we are able to get the same model, right? So import obj. Let's go to here. Let's go import. If you look at it, if I go into materials, so the procedural part of the material, I don't think that came in. But apart from that, the material that I was using on the other stuff, I think it did come in, but for some reason this one went with the default material that was there, right? So yeah. Yeah, so I guess when you're exporting it, procedural stuff doesn't stick to your models if you're exporting into obj, and the reason behind that is because it is like you're creating that procedural structure in Blender, but not all the softwares are adopted to import procedural things as they were designed in Blender. So you'll have to first convert it or bake it into an image texture by going into cycles or something like that, and then you can export it. I think that should pretty much give you textures on the OPG file. Maybe try that. If that doesn't work, we'll figure it out. Okay, anyways, let's go here. Just gonna make sure that these are switch this off. GY. I think this should also benefit from the star textures, so I'm gonna try and bring that in here. First of all, let's bring the default texture, and then we'll bring in the stars. I think it's this one. Yes, I know. Oh, sorry. What's this one? Okay. Very weird. Maybe the scale needs to be bigger or smaller. Okay. Might have to unwrap it. It's okay, we can just do normal unwrapping. I think that should be okay too. I can just take the UV coordinate and see if we are able to get anything out there. No? Okay, the texture is very small. This won't give me anything that I want. Let's go UV editor. Let's go view. Check from view. I'm gonna use this. So let's make them bigger. Alright. This. Select this. Out. Alright. Sword is looking a little bit better. I'm going to put another loop cut and bring it outside. By the way, let's just delete this side of it. Oops. Let's clip it out. I think it's fine now. Increase this a bit. Yeah, I don't like this. I think that's a good idea. Yes. By the way, this is another procedural texture that I'm working on for my add-on, but here it's very simple to update the color. Let's say let's do blue. Let me add an eyelid, by the way. So now I know we can go and actually add it through, let's say, through a rig, and I can add armature and everything like that, but I am going to be lazy to create eyelids, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a UV sphere, I'm going to go into the edit mode, I'm going to select everything that is at the bottom and delete that. Right now I'm going to do right click, shade smooth, and move it up, scale it down like this, come up, move it up a little bit. Right now I can just add a solidify modifier, so here, and bring it here is to shade auto smooth actually. Right, so it does two things. It gives it a metallic look, and it also creates that eyelid for me, right? And I can just do duplication RX 90, I think. Oops, sorry, RX 180, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Now it roughly looks like an eyelid, and the way I can animate this, right, by the way, for it to open is I can just select this thing. If you see, it looks like an eyelid now. It's a very cool idea, by the way, Mayur, so appreciate it now. So let's make sure I apply scale. Right, so let's go 0. Let's apply a rotation. I can just do this thing. So I'm going to select the rotation, keyframe it. Let's go to timeline again. Sorry, I don't know where I keyframe. Okay, let's go to 0. Doesn't matter. Okay, and let's say I want the eyelids to open somewhat 20 frames, so I can do 90 is too much, maybe 80 or 70. This much is fine, so let's do 35 degrees, and I'll fix this, so don't worry about that. But 35 degrees here, and I want this to be opened at minus 35 degrees maybe. Right. So let's see how it looks. Where is this closing again? Yeah, looks pretty cool. Very nice. But let's reduce the thickness a little bit. Like this. Maybe 0.01 is fine, similar to this. Okay, bring them out a little. Bring this eye out as well. And the reason I can get away with this cheap method is because the rest of the eye is inside the sword, so it won't look that weird. Let's go back. Yep. Now I need to bring the eye a little bit further. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. Maybe bring this out a little bit more. Need to make the eye bigger or the sphere smaller. So a little bit of gap need to fill. Nice. Looks pretty cool. Okay. Enough video to maintain some situations. Oh, is my internet not working, guys? I'm sorry. Can you let me know if it's buffering? Says my stream health is poor. I don't know what's going on. Is it buffering? If it is buffering, just let me know, guys. I'll be happy to take a look. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Actually, I'll make it fatter. So what was it? Sorry about that, guys. It's my Wi-Fi. I don't know how to fix that. Okay. Let me see if YouTube has fixed itself. Okay, looks like we are back. What should I give it? Let's just give it a default material for now. And actually I can also add a subdivision after this to make it look even more cooler. So let's add subdivision. Surface. Okay, looks like a pretty cool eye to me. Don't you think so? Very proud of myself. Alright, so here I also have a emission mask that I've created for the shader, right? So I can just simply take this, add a math node, and not this one, normal math node. Let's apply. Take this, plug this into the emission side of it, and just increase the strength. It doesn't look that great, but because the color is not fixed, so let's put this here. Let's go into the darkness a little bit. Let's see what we see. Let's increase this. It's very cool. Let's add a sun actually. So let's go light, sun. This here, gonna give it a strength of 5, increase the angle a bit, and move this around to see, find a good angle. Yeah, I don't think that's good. So maybe then we'll go here, we'll change this to a sky texture. Let's see if this helps. Wow. It has become way too bright, so let's try and see if we can fix this. We are in space now, by the way. So let's reduce this to 5,000, maybe 10,000, a little bit more, 20,000. Just trying to find a good lighting for my sword. Actually, let's do 25,000. I'm going to change the elevation. Let's say 90 degrees. Take the sun. I might just end up using I might just end up using a HDRI later on. So I don't like what I see. Let's make this metallic, by the way. Let's just bring this up a bit. And to cover this, I'm gonna add another torus. So let's bring all of this into the center. So okay, the way the toon shader works is that toon shader reacts to the sun in a specific scenario, right? So the thing is that the shadows and everything that you're getting, if you bake it in cycles, it's gonna then be fixed. It won't change, and that is the problem that you're gonna face when you actually export the toon shader. What do you want to export it into? Like, do you want to export it into a game, or do you want to just export the model and let's say do an animation or something like that? So because if you're doing an animation, you might as well do it in Blender, or else the toon shader will probably not work since it's a procedural one, right? So yeah, that's the limitation of the procedural shaders, unfortunately. Not a lot you can do about it. Then I think you are fine with just baking it into cycles, because if you bake it into cycles, the shadows will be fixed. But again, if you're only showcasing it, you should be fine. Is it on Sketchfab, Mayur? That's cool. Then Nimanta, you might just upload the blend file. I think if it's able to read that directly, then might as well just do that. Would be easier. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Mayur. Appreciate you, yeah. I don't like this, so let's switch it back. Maybe. And actually, what I also want to do is just delete anything that I'm not using. By the way, this is, since you guys are watching and I want to show you a quick trick, right? So if you're working in Blender, it keeps anything and everything that you've created in that file. So for example, if I have created a lot of materials, it's going to go and store each and every material even if I'm not using it, right? So like if you see Snake Eye 01, Snake Eye 0, there's so many different materials here which I might not even be using in the first place. To quickly get rid of that, there's an easy way. You can just click on File, click on Cleanup, Purge Unused Data. Just deletes any kind of materials, meshes, or not meshes by the way, but any kind of material per se that you're not using. And even if the meshes are like hidden or something like that, it might just end up deleting that, so just be careful. But yeah, it can just remove anything and everything that you don't want out of it, right, very quickly. So clean up, purge unused data. It's just gonna delete everything. And if you see, it says 7 data blocks removed. Now if I look at it, there are any materials that I'm not using are gone. So it's very simple. By the way, I can just delete this plane. I don't need this. And another cool thing that I actually created today, so I think my video about it just went live, so you can learn more about it there if you want, but I have created a lightning texture, and since I wanted to create this more of a lightning sword, so I can just bring and append that in here, right? So what I'll do is I'll add a solidify modifier first. Let's give it a little bit of that solidification like this. So let's do 0.3 and 1. Okay, now what I can do is flip and high quality normals. Material I'll switch to 1, and thickness clamp we'll see if we need that, right? So not actually 1, there are multiple ones here. So who is using this? Oh, this is that. This one. Okay. I think it would be 4, 1, 2, 3. It would be 3 for the material. So let's go. Right, so it's the third one. Now what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to bring in that material from the file that I created. So lighting, material, say lighting texture, right? And I'll append it, and let's make this the lighting texture. So let's bring this here. And it doesn't look that great from the get-go, so I might have to fix a few things here. So let's see. I have to try and see if we can use the UV coordinate. Can we? It's going to take a second to load. It doesn't seem like I can use it by default. I might have to like unwrap it. So apply the mirror modifier first. Let's go check from view. Let's try it. Yeah. So if you see how cool this effect looks like, I'm going to add a little bit more lighting though. So 5 to 8. Am I still live? Stream will end short of it. And if you see, I'll just slow it down a little actually. Let's do 30. Let's do 30. Divide by 5 maybe. Yeah. So if I put it in some darkness, say darkness and this now. You see, there is such a cool lightning effect that you can just simply add onto your file. And I'm sorry, I'm facing a lot of internet issues. Seems like the stream's getting more and more worse. I don't know, if I keep facing these issues, I might have to end the stream, just so that you guys don't have a bad experience over here. So let me know if it is very bad. Yeah, guys, please let me know if the stream quality is really bad. If that's the case, I might just end the stream and do it again later, and I can properly have a conversation with you guys. So Ayur, Manta, are you guys able to see me okay? Can you guys tell me if it's bad? It looks like I'm facing a lot of issues right now. No? Nobody? I'll wait for one of you to respond to me. Okay. If you guys are able to hear me okay, then I'm fine to continue this. But yeah, if it gets bad, then let me know, please. Okay. Okay, I can work with that. Thank you, Mayur. Thank you for letting me know. By the way, what I did is I applied the same electric texture in the center. Now it just looks like it has a gap, and the electricity is like flowing through the entire thing, which is so cool. Oh my god. Yeah, looks very cool. And actually I'm gonna change the textures on these. Okay. Let's change this to this. Close this gap. Okay. What I want to do here is yeah, it does, right? And this is so cool. The beauty of this texture is that it is so easy to make. It just took me like 10 different notes to make it, and once I was able to create it, it looks so realistic that I myself was very surprised, and I'm very happy that I was able to figure this out. So yeah, that's what I was doing before I came onto the stream. By the way, I was trying to figure out this lighting texture, and just with this method that I showed you for the solidify, you can just increase the area of effect as much as you want, and yeah. Anyways, coming back, so also change this. I don't like the way this is, so maybe change it to this one. Let's try. is happening here. So mirror modifier applied. Okay. I don't think there's some issues here. Still clicking. Now let's hide the eye to fix it. Let me hide this. Let's go into the edit mode. Let's be a good one. Is there an issue with this topology here? Let's rejoin. Is something wrong? I just don't know what. I think it's because I added this circle, it has messed up the way it is shading it. Shouldn't be doing this stuff. Oh, actually no. I think it's because of the proportional editing. That created other problems. Let's come back to this. We'll figure this out later on. Let's do some revision maybe. Auto smooth. I think this is much better. Yeah, it's much better. Here's my eye. What I am thinking here is to IES, then this is where it was, individual origins, this, maybe, shade auto smooth, yeah, it adds a lot of detail to this, right? Not here, I think we can just bring this down a little bit more. I think that's perfect. Okay, this looks better. We can use this torus and bring this down here. Add similar things. I'll make this similar to this, and this similar to this. Maybe make these also metal parts. So let's make this. Alright, so I can just select all of this, and by the way, we are also going to attach this sword to a character and see if we can make it swing the sword, right? So that's the goal. Actually try and do that too. But before that, maybe I want to add more details here. I don't like just a plain old texture. Maybe this. By the way, there are many other eye textures. I will show you guys maybe in some other stream, but they're pretty cool. Been working on them for a while now. So looks really fast. Yeah, it does look like Batman, doesn't it? Look at the way it is. Anyways, let's join all of these using, so I'm gonna use this as a primary base and then parent everything else to that, right? So keep transform, I think everything is parented, so like if I move this now, the entire sword move along with it, right? So we're going to take this and attach it to my character here, even though the sword is way too big for it right now. So I'm going to make it smaller, this similar to the size of my character maybe. Yeah, I think this is fine. So the goal is to the goal is to attach the sword to this guy. So status. Oh, I forgot how I did it before, but we will figure it out hopefully. So let's select the sword, then select the armature, go into pose mode, select the bone here, click Ctrl P, transform. Let's see if it works. No? By the way, what bone is this? It's been a while since I did all this. I think I should have a Blender file. But let me just pull that in to remind myself. So like I've got this here. Okay, let me look here. Attach the 3D cursor to the hand, then you could do it like selected to the 3D cursor. Okay, let me try that. I have okay, and then select it to 3D cursor. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do selected to 3D cursor, by the way, Mayur. Yeah, let me check this as well in the meantime. I think I did a great job. Shit, yes. That is so cool. Thank you. I think that was really helpful. Keep it this way. And then can do oh, that is so okay. I think we can just do keep Control P bone relative, and I think that just fixes it. So it was easier than I thought it would be, by the way. So like, yeah, thank you both of you guys. I appreciate that. It's been a while since I did any kind of modeling, but it looks correct to me so far. It's a little outside, so it's a little bit inside, but yeah, I think the slashing animation works fine. One last thing that I want to do on this, and again I might want to make it better. I don't really like the texturing I'm doing on this, but it's already very late, so I want to do just one more thing before we close the stream today. So what I want to do is I want to add a particle animation, right, and bring this all the way before the solidifier, because I want the particles to be emitted directly from the sword, not from the solidifier. So let's see. Yeah, it's following the object offset. So let's try something interesting. So velocity, maybe the tangent velocity was it? No, not this. Object velocity. Yeah, it's sticking on the object velocity, so I want that to happen. Randomize it a little bit. Let's make this 0. And what can we do? We can maybe add icospheres. Move it here. Right, bring this in. And then render the icospheres as objects. Oops. That doesn't look that great, so I will also like reduce the gravity, by the way. 0.2 or something. The velocity is too much, so let's reduce that. It's actually, see. Yeah, I think this is much better. So what I am thinking at this point is I can select the icosphere, first of all shade smooth, and let's select our lightning texture, see what we get. Right. Okay, so let's go to texture coordinate. Actually, let's go to object info, and I can take the random and multiply, or should I add, maybe add this with the value and plug this into the seed here. I want to see if I can get a random pattern for each particle here. Maybe that will look better. So yeah, I think every particle is now getting a random this thing. I'm going to duplicate the texture because I don't want similar scale for everything. So let's reduce the scale, maybe here, right? I think this looks pretty cool, hopefully. Divided by 30, divided by 10 maybe. Yeah, so it looks like, now it looks like the sword is throwing out lightning particles outside. It is so damn cool. Let's see it from here. Now I also don't want all of them to stay always, so let's kill them, and let's also do 20. Now it doesn't look that great in EV, by the way, so let's try cycles a little bit like this. I might have to render it to be able to see it correctly. Everything just so slow. little bit bigger just to see them. It's not this one. Where's that atmosphere? Okay, it disappeared completely. I just am making them big to be able to see them. I want to see how the effect looks like. So, and maybe it's not add gravity, but let's try something else. So, 30. Let's increase the particle to maybe 2000. Let's give it a little bit velocity. Let's see. And just remove the gravity altogether. I don't want it. Let's bring it back here. Alright, this looks pretty cool to me. I'll try and render it and see if I'm able to see the effect more clearly, because right now it just doesn't look that great. But yeah, I'll just check if this looks better after rendering, and maybe go from there. But I guess that's it for today's stream. I might have to close it now. It's already 12 in the night where I am, so I appreciate you guys joining in here. Thank you so much, specifically Nimanta and hopefully I'm saying your name right, and Mayur. Thank you for staying for the entire stream. I appreciate you guys sitting here chatting with me, helping me figure things out. So yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I can come back on the stream again, can do this a little bit more and have a lot of fun, a lot of good chats like these. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.